A Road Less Travelled, Chapter 33, Sleep Sailing. The Card was a sleek and stylish 60-foot sheath of bright yellow carbon fibre. Sitting pretty, bobbing up and down in the turquoise waters, we were welcomed aboard. The Card had been built to contest the 1989-90 running of the Whitbread Round the World yacht race, and although it was my first time on a racing yacht and I had no frame of reference, it looked fast. Fortunately for us, the owners had refitted the once bare shell to become a beast set up to cater for paying guests to sail in speedy comfort. Including me, there were 6 guests on board, and along with the skipper and first mate, we would crew the yacht, after some on-the-job training. The 2 diminutive Aussie girls currently chopping carrots below deck would be cooking and cleaning in the newly appointed galley. Bunks were angled tightly against the curved hull of the boat underneath the main deck. I grabbed a bottom bunk. The next 3 days promised to be a fast, frenzied, windswept sailing heaven. Naturally, we stocked it with plenty of beer and wine too. Sadly, the Card met an untimely demise amidst high winds in 2012. After breaking free of its moorings at South Mole Island, a decade after we had moored there, she was washed onto the rocks and torn to shreds like the tissue paper that had been through the shit chopper toilet on board. Whilst we didn't want boat-wrecking high winds, we did want some wind. It was like being in the doldrums on the first day. Even the windward side of the islands barely saw a breeze. So we cruised on the 6-knot motor and didn't even bother to raise the sails. The upside was it was perfect sunbathing and beer drinking weather. We made the most of it and found a cracking spot to snorkel. We were advised to always swim and snorkel on the starboard side of the boat. Suspecting the avoidance of jellyfish or shark attacks, one of the paying crew inquired as to why. The skipper's blunt reply came, "Well mate, if you swim port side when someone takes a shit, you'll be eating it without knowing." When the onboard toilet is flushed, a suction pump with a force greater than 1,000 Dysons kicks in, sucking your shit away. You guess where it goes? Yep, straight out into the sea, but only after it passes through a blender which chops your logs into little pieces on the way out. From that moment on, we clung on to the starboard bow, Jim. Free from the worry of eating each other's feces, we snorkeled freely, experiencing a plethora of fish, including millions of Nemos, turtles, rays, and some of the most incredible corals on the planet. Who needed wind? After we had dropped anchor for the evening, I did spot some people from another boat swimming on our port side. I dashed below deck, ripped a few small sheets of loo roll, stuffed them into the pan, and pushed the flush button. With a slurp and a slug, similar to the noise of the dentist vacuuming spit from your mouth, the Card spat out my ghost shit and confetti of loo roll. Childishly, I dashed on deck to see the passengers from our neighbour's boat swimming away from us faster than if they had seen Jaws. The next day, we got the sails up and learned how to crew the boat, which was fun but hard work. I was secretly glad it wasn't windier, as there would have been a lot more to do. The bit of wind we did have meant we could get out to Whitehaven Beach, which is probably the whitest sand on the planet, or at least the whitest sand in the southern hemisphere. It's the beach on all of the Whitsunday postcards for a reason. We walked to the headland to get a bird's eye view, almost tripping over a snake along the way. The sunset was sublime, and it's one of nature's most unspoiled places. We were truly blessed. As darkness fell, we enjoyed a barbecue on the beach before using the skiff to get back on board. Everyone was sun-kissed and shattered. The sea and salt air have an amazing ability to leave you feeling totally exhausted but incredibly relaxed. A guitar appeared and we merrily sang songs and sipped our drinks. The increasingly inky sky was awash with twinkling stars. After an idyllic day, the tiredness took hold and we prepared our bivouacs on deck. The bunks below looked too small and sleeping under the stars was way more romantic anyway. One by one, we dropped off into a deep, satisfied sleep. "Hey, mate, what are you doing? Mate, mate!" Apparently, I was the last person on the Whitsundays and maybe all of Queensland to hear the frantic shouting. I looked around and oddly, I was the only one on my feet. I saw the rest of the boat looking up at me aghast. I was at the bow, leaning right up against the 5mm wire ropes that ensure you're not washed away if you fall overboard when clipped on. I was not clipped on, and said rope could not have stopped me from going overboard had I lost my balance. It seems that I've been attempting a solo rendition of Leo and Kate's love scene in Titanic, but unbeknownst to me, I was absolutely fast asleep. During a quiet moment the next day, I wondered if the splash of me entering the water would have woken anyone else up. It didn't count amongst my near-death experiences, but it would have been a rude awakening. The Whitsundays and the Barrier Reef are two of the wonders of the world I am privileged to have been able to see, not once, but twice. I would be back here with even more dramatic effect in just 12 months' time. A story you can read in more of A Road Less Travelled. Back on dry land, it was safe to say I was in love with sailing lifestyle, but we didn't have long to get our land legs back. It was time for Denmark.